There's no brainwashing, there's no paid propaganda that will make them believe again that Israel is a small country, a peaceful country, the single democracy of the Middle East, surrounded by hostile people from an Arabic origin or hostile people from an Islamic religion. Those were all lies, and finally people are waking up to this. For everybody who has been accompanying the Palestinian cause for 8 decades, there have been genocide and ethnic cleansing that structured itself to an apartheid colonial state and which is led by a racist and supremacist ideology called Zionism. But what we've seen throughout this last 2 years and a half almost was an escalation of this genocide that right now got to a point where, after a global uprising in solidarity for Palestine and the resistance of the Palestinian people with their Sumud staying in their land, defeated Trump and Netanyahu's plans, which was total ethnic cleansing, and displaced them first to Jordan and Egypt, then they changed their minds, started talking about Eritrea, South Sudan, Somaliland, and other places. That mobilization created a situation where they understood that the Palestinian people never abandoned their land. But now they're trying through new ways. They're trying to what they so-called ceasefire, which in the end was not the end of the violations and the violence. So, for example, in the first 4 months that have not yet been completed, they've killed over 550 people by bombs, by drones, by rifles. They also hindered aid, continue to hinder aid. So there was an agreement in the ceasefire that 600 trucks per day would enter through Rafah, and an average through this period there was 253 trucks. And let's consider that even if 600 trucks were entering Gaza, it would still be a bit more than half of what the United Nations consider the minimum to maintain the basic nutritional necessities of the Palestinian people, the basic conditions of a dignified life in the Gaza Strip. So the violence has kept on going, the aid continues to be hindered, and they're taking over land in Gaza by what the Israeli regime calls the yellow line, which are huge yellow concrete blocks that every day moves further and further inside the Gaza Strip. And they consider that anyone who crosses these yellow bricks, they are shot at sight. So right now they have taken over 63% of Gaza, a region that's so small, only 365 square kilometers. So they're taking over land, they're killing people, they're hindering aid. What has changed compared to the violence from before? Now they're not killing one child after every 12 minutes, like it happened for the last 2 years and a half. They're still killing children. They're still violating the rights of the Palestinian people that, like every people in the world, should have the right of their sovereignty, their self-determination. The people there should have the right to live in peace. They should not have to live by the sounds of F-35 fighter jets that will throw 2,000-pound bombs over their heads. That's not a reality that any people in the world deserve to live, and the Palestinians definitely do not deserve to live. And the whole world finally understood that, but now they come through these new ways to pretend a false peace in order to continue their violations, which was pretty much the history of these 8 decades that the Palestinian people have been living. The violations over the Palestinian people, they have been ongoing for these 8 decades, but in Gaza specifically, for 19 years now, they have been under siege by land, by sea, and by air. And this has promoted the most horrific violations that we have no doubt in saying that Gaza is right now the biggest concentration camp in the world. In the last 2 years, it turned into the biggest extermination camp in the world. So we need to change this situation. The Palestinian people have been calling for world solidarity to mobilize so that the siege ends over Gaza. And the flotilla missions to break the siege, they exist since the second year of the siege. So the siege started 2007, 2008, the first mission starts. The first 5 missions, they actually got to Gaza with 2 small fishing boats. And since then, since December 2008, no boat has ever broke the siege to get to Gaza carrying humanitarian aid and bringing solidarity. So after many attempts, we've been trying to do that, and we still haven't managed to break the siege. But what we are doing is that we are escalating. We see that every time more people are aware, more people are willing to mobilize. So we went on the Medellin, for example, in June 2025, and there was a huge mobilization that was not happening before, because the day they illegally kidnapped us and intercepted our mission, stole the aid, stole the boat, the whole world went to the streets. And that was something that the global uprising for Palestine could benefit a lot, because at that moment, maybe billions of people were understanding and asking the right questions. Why is Gaza under siege? What happens with the borders of Palestine? What happens with international law that says the Palestinians should not live under occupation? So when people start to ask these things, they get to the roots, they get to Zionism, this ideology, they get to United States imperialism. And once they understand this, there's no coming back. There's no brainwashing, there's no paid propaganda that will make them believe again that Israel is a small country, a peaceful country, the single democracy of the Middle East, surrounded by hostile people from an Arabic origin or hostile people from an Islamic religion. Those were all lies, and finally people are waking up to this.